Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Lorraine Robinson coming to you live from Lorraine's Barn. I am just so excited for tonight's lineup where we're going to be speaking about sports endurance and sports performance, and we'll be speaking with the youth. And my special guests tonight are Kelly Epting and Ben Epting. Kelly is the proud mother of Ben. Ben is a senior at Dutch Fork High School, and he is going to be going to USC in the fall to study marketing. And I think he will be majoring in marketing and minoring in psychology, right? And he is just such a gifted sportsman, played varsity football for Dutch Fork and baseball. He's a gifted swimmer. And one thing I also appreciate about him, and there's just no doubt that it just shines through, that Ben is just a natural leader. And that just blesses me when I look at him. And I've known this family for over 8 years, and I've seen him grow up. And it's just been wonderful, Ben, to just see how you have absolutely grown into the amazing young man that you are, such a leader, and that you've had such an impact on the younger generation, you know, the younger ones, those following in your footsteps. So this evening, I wanted to just chat with you, and there's so many things I wanted to discuss with you and your mom, and we're going to be hearing from Abigail Gobb later on, who's also a varsity runner at Dutch Fork. It's all about Dutch Fork tonight. But first, Ben, thank you for joining us tonight. And if you can just share a little bit about, you know, the sports, just tell us a little bit more about yourself, just the sports you played, and yeah, who is Ben?
Okay. So I've played sports obviously my whole life. Football, baseball, wrestling, swimming. So I stayed pretty busy, and that carried into middle school and high school. So I played, Dutch Fork football, Dutch Fork baseball. I wrestled at Dutch Fork, and I swam at Dutch Fork. So I was a 3-sport letter at one point in time. So I kept myself busy. I like to be competitive and try to exert myself in that area as much as I can. And sports kind of was that avenue that I took. So with those things, all of the lessons that I've learned from the sports have kind of connected and kind of created who I am today. I think they're a big part of why I am the way I am. The leadership, all the sports I played there, it's kind of like a master class of leadership. So being there, it was a true blessing to be able to be a part of those teams.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Yeah, no, what a legacy that you are able to leave behind. And I know you have a nephew, a cousin, right? A cousin
Yes.
that is much younger than you, and I know you've been such a mentor to him, and I can just imagine how he looks up to you. I know you spend a lot of time, you and your brother, with him as well. So that's wonderful. Well, you know, as a sportsman, I know that the hours are grueling. And I know what it takes because I see it from the outside. Every time I drive past there, I see how many hours you all invest in your sports. You know, talk to us a little bit about that, and you know, what effect and impact does that have on the body? All that endurance, you know, all that energy and all that the hours and hours of practice.
Oh, it does. It's not just, practice time. So as a high schooler, you usually practice in the afternoon, so 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. But most athletes have weightlifting classes, and they'll, practice even in the morning. Sometimes for swimming, we practice in the morning and in the afternoon. So it's a constant kind of race. I wouldn't consider it a race more than a marathon. So you definitely, you have to treat your body the right way to be able to go through that. Just giving it the fuel that it needs, because it definitely is it's a big workload, and especially if you're doing it a couple of different sports in different seasons, because some people, they have the luxury of having a season, and they might not play or do another sport during another season, so they have that time to recover. But for me, my schedule was so busy. All of the seasons had some sort of sport activity in there. So I kind of learned how to recover as fast as I could, and come out rested enough to get back at it the next day.
I've noticed that they naturally started gravitating towards healthier foods as they, because the competition became so much greater, especially, from those club sports going up like 7th and 8th grade. I mean, it was ramping up, and they just weren't able to keep up unless they were making good food choices. And so it was, I feel like it was a natural evolution for him to understand the impact that what he was putting into his body was helping him.
Yeah, and especially at a 5A school, one of the bigger schools in the state of South Carolina that's competitive in all sports. You need to be able to fuel yourself to be able to compete at that level.
Sure.
So anything that I could get my hands on that could give me that extra edge, I wanted to do.
Wonderful. So you mentioned that part of the training or part of this whole package deal is also spending time in the weight room. So maybe you can give us a little bit of a glimpse. What do most of the young athletes, or not young, the athletes, the high school athletes, competitive athletes, what do they do? I mean, what do they use to enhance their performance? What is the general go-to in your world?
Okay, that's a really great question. And what I've seen in high school that a lot of kids kind of gravitate towards are the, hyped up supplements like pre-workout. Pre-workout is by far the biggest one. It has lots of caffeine in it. Most of the ones that they take, you barely know what's in it. But kids will take it before they go in the weight room to try to give themselves an edge. They'll take it even before games. So it's not just merely a in the gym supplement in their eyes. And I tried it. It really wasn't for me. The caffeine, I knew that there was a better way than all that stuff. I didn't like the fact that you didn't really know what was in it. So Ready Beats and the Beat supplements that AIM has, I use those before my workouts, and I could definitely tell a difference. The how long I could go without getting fatigued, how many more reps that I could do in the weight room after taking that in the morning. It was just astounding. And it gave you this energy all workout long, and it's a big deal, because if you're in the weight room for an hour, sometimes you'll hit that 30-minute mark and you'll be like, I don't want to push it as much as I can, just because you're about capped out. You don't have any more energy. But after I took Ready Beats, I was ready to go all workout long.
Well, that's wonderful. Sorry?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, because, the Ready Beats that Ben is speaking about, it's called AIM Ready Beats. And it's one of my favorite products. It's just a concentrated beet juice. And you won't believe, but I always say to people, how many pounds of beets do you think is in here? Do you all know? Do you know how many pounds of beets are in here?
I knew it, but I know that there's a lot more than what I expected there to be.
Yeah, there are 15 pounds of beets in here.
Yeah.
And
I remember looking at that.
It was interesting to hear you say that it improved your energy. It helped you feel you could carry on a lot longer, and that's simply because beets are so much more than just giving you energy. They've got potent antioxidants that help to cleanse the liver. Research shows, there's a wonderful piece of research from Wake Forest University that's showing that the nitrate-rich juice of beets, help to protect the brain. And that's because when you drink the beets, and this is what's happening in your body, and this is why you feel like you feel, when you drink the beets, the good bacteria in your mouth turns the juices, the nitrates in the beet juice into nitrites. And this helps to increase the oxygen in your blood, and it takes the oxygen to all your extremities, and therefore lowering lactic acid in your body. And that's why it's just such a good thing, but without the caffeine and without the stimulants. And in the process, your adrenal glands that get hammered as you are taking those stimulants, they are not harmed when you take beet juice.
Right.
So that totally makes sense. Are there any other AIM supplements? So the AIM supplements are food. So they are whole food concentrates that I personally have been using since 1997. And I know Ben and Kelly and their family have been using it. Kelly will share in a bit. But I love them because they fit my whole food philosophy. They're food. They're concentrated foods. And I think, Ben, you have really made use of these. Would you like to share with us just a few of those that you use and why you enjoy them?
Yeah, of course. So on the topic of in the weight room, obviously after you work out, you have to have some source of protein. And the protein mix is a great supplement. It helps so much in my workouts. Along with that, so in the morning, I usually have a couple of shakes a day. Along with my normal diet, I will throw in some cocoa leaf greens right here. I feel like it gives me, more focus in the classroom. So being a student athlete, there's obviously a student aspect of the athlete part. So that helps so much. Staying focused in there. It's crazy. You can definitely tell a difference. I can tell a difference when I don't take it and when I do. And it just makes me such a productive person, way more productive than, if I didn't have it, or maybe I had a meal or something that wasn't as healthy as it should have been. So take that. And the Flora food helps a lot with my gut. If I ever eat something that maybe I shouldn't have, it right away, it'll help you. It'll give you some relief, along with PrepZyme. So it's kind of both of those products. We have them here. They help so much. So on the weekends, maybe if you're not training and you do kind of go and splurge and have those cheat meals, and if you have a diet that's kind of normal, so you get used to eating these healthy foods, and then all of a sudden you have a meal that maybe you weren't supposed to, you definitely feel it. And the Flora food and the PrepZymes definitely helps a lot. I mean, it's like night and day. Your stomach might be hurting really bad, and you just take those, and it helps right away.
Wow, that's wonderful. And I know, if I can just chime in, the Flora food is a probiotic. And so, so your gut, we all know that 80% of our immune system is in our gut, right? And so the Flora food is a very, very unique combination of good bacteria, and they also contain fructooligosaccharides, which is foods that feed the good bacteria. So great to recolonize the gut, because when you are stressed and being a student and being an athlete and putting the demands on your body that you do, you are stressed. And when we stress, B vitamins get depleted from our gut, and your good bacteria help to make the B vitamins in the gut. And then, of course, the PrepZymes is a digestive enzyme. And as you say, you eat right 80% of the time, but over the weekend, when you do maybe go out with friends and you do want to splurge, it's just a fantastic tool that you can lean into and take. And it just has all the digestive enzymes that work across all the different pH barriers that just help break down the fats and the I think it's got all those enzymes in that break down the fats and the proteins and refined carbohydrates, etc. And I love that, man. I mean, we are never without it.
Yeah, great products.
Yes, I always carry some in my handbag, and I am asked for them regularly by the rest of the family. If we've gone out to have pizza or something like that, then it's not unusual to be asked for the PrepZymes.
Wow. And I just wanted to mention the ProPeas, which is a plant-based protein powder that you take. It's so beneficial to take something like a pea protein powder, because if you look at whey and soy, which are very popular, and I think in your age group, if I speak correctly, I think whey is probably the most popular. And so one must remember that whey is inflammatory in the body. So it is going to cause inflammation once it's gone through digestion, and it's an allergen. So for people who are allergic, the pea protein is definitely a better option. the other reason why I love the pea protein is that when you look at digestion, it takes 4 hours to digest, where soy and whey take 90 minutes. So you have a lot longer, your blood sugar is a lot more sustained with pea protein powder, which means if you have balanced blood sugar levels and your blood sugar is not all over the place, you're going to be able to perform better.
Yeah.
Wow.
On top of that, these past 2 years, I've started consistently taking the products and in the weight room, especially with the Pro P and the Ready Beats. It took usually over the course of a program, my strength increases would maybe be anywhere from 10 pounds to maybe 20 pounds. I'll talk about the bench press, for example. So in a maybe 6-month period, it might be 20 pounds, right? And that's every other day in class. But as soon as I started consistently supplementing with, the Pro Ps and the Ready Beats, half of that time, so each quarter, so about 9 weeks, I was consistently going up 25 pounds in my bench press. I increased my bench press from 200 pounds to 300 pounds in almost a year and a half, which was astounding. I've never done that before. And
wow.
Once you develop that amount of strength and you put that into a sport, maybe like baseball, where, power is a big deal and hitting the ball hard is basically the name of the game. It has helped a lot. I went from barely hitting balls to the fence to hitting the ball over the fence consistently. Wow. So it was a crazy transformation.
Wow, that's amazing. And Kelly, I know, you've always lived a healthy lifestyle as long as I could remember. When you and I met, we were gymming together, and you've just been so consistent over the years, and your job is very high pressure. And, I just want to commend you for being faithful with the physical exercise. And because I know that helps to bring the balance and helps to distress you. But maybe you can share just, what are the products that you enjoy, and why have you been married to the AIM products for all these years?
Yeah, absolutely. I have always tried to stay fit and healthy, but there's been certain plateaus that I think that we all experience. For me, it was like about 35, about 45. You start to see, okay, the same things that I did before aren't really achieving the same results. And also that sense of, why am I so tired? And so I'm trying to prevent that. And so I'm finding a lot of success using these products. And so what I'll just go through a day and then I'll show you what I do like on special occasions. But it's always the Flora food, and that just goes in my little pill minder with my vitamins every morning. And for a protein smoothie in the morning, I will use the Pro P, and I will go with the cocoa leaf greens, or I might make a green smoothie with the Barley Life. And so, I love drinking the Barley Life mixed with Peak Endurance. We haven't talked about that yet, but I think about that as my sports drink.
Okay.
Also, if I am going to do a workout in the morning, because I do weight training 2 mornings a week with a trainer, and I was jumping out of bed, putting my clothes on, and going to work out, drinking water, feeling quite depleted by the end. I would come home and need to lie down because I felt like I'd worked out so hard with the weights. And so I started getting up a little bit earlier, and I had some of this in advance. And I really think that it sustains that endurance, and I feel like I've had a quicker recovery after exercising.
Gotcha.
So, and really the whole garden trio, whenever I'm doing, like I said, a green smoothie or just a drink, I also use the just carrots. We're actually, I'm trying to hit the
Kelly, you're there? You back?
Yes, I'm back. But then also I enjoy the Fit and Fiber. And I think that that's very easy to drink. It's very palatable. I just have that with water, and it really it's either this or I was telling you before the call that this herbal fiber blend, I just really swear by it and turn back. And it's really a super way of detoxing and just really feel.
Kelly, you there? I think we're losing you a little bit. You guys back?
Yes, I apologize.
No.
Anyway, so that's really a good way of feeling like I'm starting all over again.
Wonderful.
With the herbal fiber blend. And of course, peptides are something that I always carry with me in my handbag. And I think that's about it. But I mean, it is so easy to integrate these things into what I do because, again, a protein smoothie is a very quick way to get a nice high protein snack, but also with a lot of these veggies in there.
Yes.
If I ever feel I have allergies, because I have seasonal allergies, I feel run down, I will double the Barley Life, the Just Carrots, and I feel like I start to get my my energy and my feeling of strength back. Okay. So it's just, I mean, I go to it as opposed to, like I was talking about medicines. I mean, I have like also the omega-3 capsules that I'm
Omega?
Yeah. Right. So it's not like I just feel like these food supplements are my vitamins because they're the brilliant colors. They're so easily digestible. I never feel like poorly. And you know how sometimes after you take a vitamin, you would just feel, not quite right. It would come back.
That's right.
The thing is all of these vitamins are so easily tolerated that it's very, again, just simple to add it to my diet. So it's just, I feel like I do have an edge. I feel I get lots of compliments on my skin. I feel whenever I am, preparing in advance with some of these items before I work out, I feel like I'm better at working out and I have better gains as well. And so it's just an easy thing for us to do. So I just kind of go through all these products without really thinking about them that much because they're so much a part of my life now.
Wow, that's wonderful. And I heard a nutritionist say many, many years ago in South Africa, if you have the need to take a multivitamin and mineral supplement, make sure you're having greens, oranges, and reds. And I think, the fact that you and Ben feel like you feel, you can feel, I always say you feel the difference, is because they are so easily bioavailable. And when you drink the Garden Trio, which is the concentrated Barley Life, concentrated green leaves of barley, the beets and the carrots, they go through your mucous membranes, and within 15 minutes, they're into your bloodstream and they start doing something. And I always say to people, it doesn't matter which vitamin or mineral supplement you take. If the nutrients don't penetrate the cells, it means nothing. And that is one of the reasons why I can really also testify, is because our body knows what to do with it, and penetration of nutrients are into the cells and you feel the difference. So I'm just so thankful to you both for your time. And Ben, I know you headed off to college. Are you going to be taking any of these things with?
Of course. I've kind of developed a weight room addiction, if you'd like to say. I like to work out a lot, so I'm definitely going to bring the stuff with me, especially after the success I had and kind of the transformation.
Wow, well, that's awesome. Well, you're such an example, and I just wish so many other young men would just follow your lead, and I'd all the very best to you for this new season of your life. And I know, Kelly, you guys are going to be empty nesters, right? Isn't this these? Right. That's right. So you're also in a new season. But thank you so much for taking time to share. And it blesses me to see that as a family you've used these things so faithfully for how many years has it been? I mean, it's been a long time.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Been a long, long
I
time.
mean, yeah. So I would, yeah, at least like you're saying 8 years. I mean, probably at least that. It's been a while.
I thought it was about 8 years. And I always say to people, it's the little things we do every single day that have a profound impact. And what I see with so many people, especially with when it comes to the supplemental industry, and the supplemental industry is huge. It's a last time I looked, it was a $40 billion+ industry, is that, you know, these things, these new things come out and people just run for them and you know, use them, but they're not consistent. But you've been consistent, and I always say intensity is what gets us healthy, but consistency is what keeps us healthy. And you know, you are just the fruit is so evident in both of your lives, that you've been consistent, and you've driven it through, and just look how wonderful you are, and how healthy you are. So thank you to you both for the privilege of your time. I know you're very busy, but I really appreciated that you took some time just to share with us, and just to share your experience. I know this is going to be recorded, and I know it's going to be an encouragement to many, many other athletes who are really avid athletes. It'll just encourage them and maybe give them some good information that they can learn from. So thank you very, very much. Next, we are going to be speaking with another athlete, Abigail Gopp. And Abigail, if you can unmute yourself, if you don't mind. Hi. So I just want to quickly read a little something about Abigail. Abigail has always been an active young lady, and from a very young age, she began participating in sports, including competitive gymnastics, swimming, running. She currently runs cross country and track for the Dutch Fork High School varsity team. And I have seen from a distance how she runs, and man, she is a amazing, amazing, gifted athlete. So Abigail, thank you so much for taking some time with us.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very encouraged that you could be here with us. So maybe I can just share, you know, you heard Ben share, and it was a great encouragement to me, and I bet you it was an encouragement to you too. But I know, and I've seen how you practice. And I've seen the hours and hours and hours that you also put into your sports. You know, maybe you can share a little bit with us, you know, what are the tools that you go to, or things that, natural things that you really tap into to improve your endurance, to help with your recovery. And I know there's a lot of pressure on our athletes. And so, you know, I know sometimes your nerves can drive you a little bit crazy. So maybe you can just share with us.
Okay, well, I do use a lot of AIM products on a regular basis. My main one, pretty much, I use Peak Endurance a lot. I use it in smoothies, or sometimes I just drink it by myself or by itself. But it gives me a lot of energy for when I'm running, and it kind of gives me a little boost at the end. Like, just whenever I'm in the middle of a run, I start getting tired. And it really just helps me kind of push through the last bit of a race or practices, or yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. And I love the Peak Endurance. I think Ben and Kelly also use the Peak Endurance. But just to quickly share, the Peak Endurance is a very good alternative to Gatorade and Propade or Powerade. I don't know, South Africa and America have got different products, but I think we have Gatorade here, right? And so what I love about it, it contains no caffeine, no ephedra, and no stimulants. It only contains 1 gram of natural sugar. It contains all your B vitamins 1 to 12 in a whole food state, all 6 electrolytes, and it contains ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy carrier that gives energy to the mitochondria, to your cells. And isn't it wonderful that you are able to use something like that without, you know, shooting up and then taking a nosedive? So it's wonderful that you experience that as you run.
Yes.
And I think there was something else you mentioned that you also enjoy.
Yes. I use Propees.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in my protein shakes and smoothies, it pretty much just gives me extra energy, a lot like the Peak Endurance, and it gives me more protein and just, I guess, more power, would you say, in my runs. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And I know you say you get nervous sometimes, right?
Yes. Yes.
So is there something that you enjoy taking from AIM that really helps you?
Yes. I use, sorry, I've got everything here. I use the Composure.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps me calm down, I guess, when I'm anxious, whether it's school, cross country, or just anything pretty much whenever I'm nervous. It helps kind of calm my nerves and just, yeah. So
That's wonderful. Yeah, we love Composure. I mean, we have it in our house all the time because it just is, it's actually one of the neuro products, and it's a combination of 7 different herbs, or I think American people say herbs. Don't you say
yes.
herbs? We say herbs. And so it's 7 different herbs that work in the gut that's linked to the brain and central nervous system, and it just calms you. And it's non-addictive. It gives the most amazing calming feeling. I have a lot of people that take it to sleep better at night. It helps improve their sleep. It helps when people are going through stress, you can lean in and out of the Composure. It's just a wonderful, 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 all natural, very humble, probably one of AIM's most inexpensive supplements that just have helped so many people just to take the edge off a nervous energy.
Yes.
And then you mentioned calcium supplement that you also enjoy, right?
Yes. Like you probably heard me say, I make a lot of smoothies and just pretty much just for fun and whenever I need energy. And it's a good like non-guilt type of thing without all the sugar and just bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just use this in protein shakes, smoothies whenever I need, again, pretty much extra energy. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
And what would be a good, can you give us an example of one of your smoothies, like one of your smoothie recipes? What would you put in there?
Well, I use ProPeas, Peak Endurance, calcium, along with strawberries, mangoes, peaches, bananas, chia seeds too. Chia seeds are good for fiber, and spinach also. So
Wow. I mean, how many fruits and veggies do you have in there? I mean, that's like loaded, right? And
yeah.
so the calcium, I understand, it's important for you, especially your age, because when we are in our teenage years, that's when we need to be building, we need to be depositing bone into our bone bank. So that when you get to my age and your mom's age and Miss Kelly's age and all, those who are around about our age, that's when we can start pulling from those reserves. So it's just so important, especially when we have young athletes who are active, to eat properly, but also to take a good ionic whole food calcium supplement. So this is not just for the younger generation. When you get to my age, our calcium stores start becoming depleted. So, a lot of people take calcium supplements, and the calcium is not always in the right state to be absorbed by the bone. And so AIM's Calci-Aim, believe it or not, is actually more alkaline forming than the Barley Life. So very, very beneficial for bones, to maintain bone health. I actually have the most amazing testimonies of people who have wonderful testimonies about improved bone, and just great product to how can I say, to support the musculoskeletal system, the Calci-Aim. So is there anything else you want to share with us?
Well, my mom actually makes a lot of protein shakes, and sometimes I drink some of them. I use them for recipes, and I've noticed that she uses Barley Life a lot.
Yes.
And it's a good, it's a really good, like I said, for the calcium, it's a good guilt-free type of, no nitrates, nothing, just all good stuff just packed into one powder where you can just put it in smoothies, shakes, everything.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Mhm.
And have you also felt, you know, that you recover quicker when you
Yes.
are fueling your body, you know, with real foods and real whole food concentrates?
Mhm. Yes, with the intensity of training that cross country does have, I have to have a lot of energy for it, and endurance is a big part of it. And peak endurance actually helps a lot, mostly with that. So,
Wonderful. Oh, well, that's awesome. Well, I just wanted to thank you all so much for taking time tonight or this evening to participate and just share your stories. You know, I always say one can never refute a testimony, and you know, the proof is in the pudding. I don't know if that's an American saying, but that's what we say in South Africa. And it's just so wonderful to be able to walk a road with so many of you and your families over the years, and to be able to see that you are walking in good health and that you can still do everything and better than what we did when we were 20, right, Kelly?
Mm.
In some areas. Anyway, so Angie, I see you are joining us this evening. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us. Are there any questions? I know this is a little bit of a tricky time because it's over supper time, but I am excited because I know the recording will be watched by many people. Angie, do you have any questions? Not? Okay, not a problem. Well, thank you so much to you, Ben and Kelly, and those that have chimed in to listen, and Abigail. I really appreciate the privilege of all of your time, and I will just end off now, and I hope to see you all soon. Good luck with all the exams, and Ben, I hope to see you before you head off to college, and thanks again for joining us this evening. Take care. Bye.
Ray. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Abigail.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.